This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description. Episode of Top of the Morning is brought to you by Edward Jones financial advisor Kelly Harmon, providing you with well-researched guidance backed by Edward Jones' extensive team and technology that help you prepare for retirement, children's education, or other financial goals. Call 252-473-1006 or visit the link on the screen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time for Top of the Morning, the best 30-minute morning show on the internet. Make sure you head over to the website that you see on your screen. And if you're not watching and you're just listening, that website is tuconservative.com. Make sure to head over there, get yourself a membership, and check out the page TUC Doc so you can peep our documentary, The Rocky Mount Story, that you see on your screen. We delve into the corruption, that alleged corruption going on out there in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Shouts out to all our folks that tap in with us out in Rocky Mount. We appreciate y'all. Yeah, absolutely. Top of the morning. So, bro, you in? What's going on, bro?
I'm in. I'm Iggity in.
God, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all the way in. Top of the morning to you and each and every person that's watching the show. As always, jump in the comments. Let us know where you are watching from so that we can get you a shout out. And I already see we got our good friend Marla Ivester checking us out from Gastonia. Top of the morning to you, Miss Marla. Bro, what's good, man? Had a good weekend?
Yeah, weekend was good, nice and quiet. Doing the thing, doing the whole writing thing. So I had a really good weekend. Didn't do too much. I visited a local farm. Got out there and see how the farm works, and I actually went to 2 farms. So, just a very relaxed, uneventful weekend. Bunch of writing and trying to keep up with what's going on out here in Bizarro world.
Yeah, and one of the things that happened kind of after we do our morning show on Friday was Byron Donalds has announced that he is going after the speakership. Do you think we get a speaker today?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know what's going to happen because, apparently there's several people putting themselves in the situation to run. So, we'll see. Hopefully it'll get worked out this week.
As of a few hours ago, 9 candidates have joined the House Speaker race. The candidates, who include Majority Whip Tom Emmer, GOP Conference Vice Chair Mike Johnson, are set to make their cases today before the Republican conference. So it's just going to be interesting. So Tom Emmer had gotten 1 vote. If you remember, so like 1 guy was voting for him. Like he was just getting
right.
1 vote.
Terrible.
Terrible. But then you've got GOP Conference Vice Chair Mike Johnson of Louisiana. You've got Jack Bergman of Michigan. I don't even know who that is. Have you ever heard of Jack Bergman?
No.
All right. Byron Donalds, who I think would be amazing as a speaker. Kevin Hearn of Oklahoma. Dan Moiser of Pennsylvania. Gary Palmer of Alabama. Austin Scott of Georgia. And Pete Sessions of Texas have all tried to step in. So it's going to be an interesting Republican conference. It's just going to be a very interesting conference. And get in the comments. Let us know what you think. Who of those people do you think become the next Speaker of the House of Representatives? I like Byron Donalds, bro. I think I would like to see Byron Donalds running, in that seat. Not just running for it, but in that actual seat is what I think would be dope.
Okay, so looking at the people on your screen, off of face recognition, who do you know? Like
Byron
if you,
Donald.
that's what I'm saying. But if you had to be like, you don't even recognize anybody.
I mean, is that a bad thing though?
I, well, this is what I understand to be true. The Speaker of the House has to do several things, right? A lot of that's gonna come down to raising money on a national level for your caucus, for your party.
Mm, mm.
So, amongst the things that people talk about, all of the job details, there are things that are party related that a Speaker of the House needs to be able to do. And like I said, fundraising is a big deal, right? That's a really, really big deal. So, I mean, if I had to guess, who do you think could raise the most money for their, you know, party? Who do you think could do that out of these people on the screen?
That's a good question. Definitely a good question. I know, I'm just saying what I know for a fact that I was at the Mecklenburg Mech Deck dinner when Byron Donalds came, and it wasn't an empty seat in the building, is all I'm saying.
So say the names one more time before we jump to the next thing. Just say the names one more time. This
Hold
is
on,
just
I'll
just
say the
see.
names. I'll say the names. All right, you ready? Majority Whip Tom Emmer of Minnesota. Now, if all I was gonna say is he's a gray-haired white guy, but that doesn't really tell you which one he is. So you got Tom Emmer of Minnesota. You've got GOP conference vice chair Mike Johnson of Louisiana, which looks to be the younger of the crew there. He is the guy up top in the middle with the glasses. Tom Emmer looks to be the guy on the bottom all the way left to the left of Byron Donalds. That's Tom Emmer. Then you have Jack Bergman, who is from Michigan, and Jack Bergman is the guy to the right of Byron Donalds. I'm just matching up the pictures as I go. Obviously, Byron Donalds. Then you have Rep. Kevin Hearn of Oklahoma. Kevin Hearn of Oklahoma is the guy up top to the far right. Um, and then you have Dan Moiser of Pennsylvania. He's the semi dark haired dude. Dan Moiser from Pennsylvania is to the left of the guy I just pointed out. And then you have Gary Palmer of Alabama. I don't know any of these people. That's the dude on the bottom right.
Right, the guy with
And
the glasses looks familiar. I think he's on a important committee. I see him roasting Democrats all the time.
which guy?
The guy top, second from the left, top row.
Oh, with the glasses. He's the vice chair of
He's
the
a yeah.
Republican conference. So yeah, but
His,
again,
his name
people
escapes me, but he definitely looks familiar. So out of him and Byron, I mean, if this was who we had to pick, and I believe they're going in for a ballot vote again today.
maybe.
Hmm.
So that's the guy you're talking about with the glasses is Mike Johnson of Louisiana. He's an
Yeah, I
attorney,
like him.
former
I
talk
like him.
show, fourth term, and sits on judiciary.
Yeah, I know. He's
Previously
he's he's good
supported
on the judiciary.
Jordan Speaker's ship bid. So we will see, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep our eye on this speaker's race. I just thought it would be dope to start out there since our homeboy, our homie, Representative Byron Donalds, has gone ahead and announced his candidacy for speakership. Now, one of the interesting things is Byron Donalds is a really big supporter of President Trump. And one of the stories that we were going to talk this morning about was this whole idea of this guy here supporting Donald Trump. Now, if you don't know who he is one of the founders of Black Lives Matter. So the founder of I shouldn't say of Black, he's the founder of a Black Lives Matter organization, is voicing his support for January 6 prisoners and not shying away from endorsing President Trump as the best candidate we have. His name is Mark Fisher. He stepped down from his leadership position at BLM Rhode Island, which he co-founded. But Rod, does he get props for this? Because now he is the founder and executive director of the Maryland-based BLM Incorporated.
Quack, quack, quack.
He stood in solidarity with leaders of the Proud Boys and led vigils of prayer for the people he believes to be political prisoners. He said that they are lambs led to slaughter to be sacrificed, an example for all who might want to dissent in the future. That is what government does to those who express independent thought and want to stand up for what they believe. What he sees in is the vindictive treatment of January 6 prisoners is similar to how black people have been treated. Interesting.
All right, you want to know my real response to this?
Yeah.
Every day I'm hustling, hustling. Every day I'm hustling, race hustling. Every day I'm race hustling.
You're telling me we got to do a Rick Ross parody of race hustling? Every day I'm hustling, race hustling. You think it's a race hustle, bro?
It's absolutely 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
So he's doing that to what? Keep his name out there, keep the organization out there. He's
I
definitely not gonna waste
personally, I'm not
anything
gonna
like that.
I'm not gonna waste brain power trying to figure out his motives, but there's one that trumps them all.
Ooh, what would that be? Some pesos?
Gotta get that money, man. Still the same. Gotta get that money, man. That's what that's all about. So that's it. That's all you got.
Both Thug and Harmony. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah. Gotta get that money, man. It's still the same now. That's what's going on with that right there, bro. It's the first
Alright,
of the
well.
month. That's what's going on right there.
Yeah.
Get your checks and come on.
So
Come on.
Mr. Fisher, who is a Christian, has a degree in theology with a background being a pastor, expressed contempt for both the government and the media. He says, quote, I don't trust the federal or state government as far as I can throw them, and the media is trying to stop us from uniting. It's the
Yeah,
same
this is
division between all those marginalized groups in the first place to keep us at each other's throats. No, sir. No. I mean, to his okay.
all right. You know what I'm not. You know what I'm not. You know what I'm noticing. There's a pattern here. There's a pattern here. These people do not want to have a academically sound conversation about the fundamentals of politics. They don't want to deal with that. There's no way. Hey, before we get into issues, before we get into that, your claim is that state government's a problem. Okay. Fine. That doesn't make a lot of sense. In so much as that if it works the way they say it works, which is from the top down, I would agree. But it only works from the local up. So the idea that's like saying every municipality is corrupt. Like every county, every township, every what do you call it? Incorporated village. What else you got? You got incorporated villages, you got townships, you got hamlet, you got whatever you got. Every community government is somehow corrupted and set up.
Isn't that something out the Marxist playbook, though? I mean,
it's one of those things where, again, you can't get these guys unless you want to give them $5,000 to come on your podcast to come out. Hey, just come have a conversation. No, I'm not giving you $4,000 donation for you to come on my platform and talk. I'm not doing that. But that's why you can't get them on there. So what happens is,
the thing is this. He also went on to say, well, let me put it this way. BLM is a Marxist organization. That's without a doubt. That is from the founders of it. But he is denying that framing. He said black people want the same thing white people want. He said, we want life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We want to make money and have a family. Do these sound like Marxist principles? Well,
yeah, you didn't keep going though.
Yeah, he said we want to make money and have a family. Do those sound like Marxist principles? To me, those are fundamentally American, entrepreneurial, and capitalist. We want to acquire wealth and leave something, as the Bible teaches us for our children.
All right.
I feel like he's trying to mix and mash a few things.
That's what I was saying. He's trying to do. I'm a conservative Marxist.
No, but this also goes on to say he doesn't speak highly of the Democrat Party. In his words, quote, "It is a racist party with racist policies that negatively impact black families.
True.
Black people are stuck on that plantation mentally. They're slaves in their own minds because they refuse to see the big picture and how we've been used and abused by the Democrat Party with policies that are absolutely antithetical to what black people yearn for in this country, which is life, liberty, freedom, the pursuit of happiness, and to raise a family." He equally distrusts the Republican Party, which he says has its own corrupt institutions. This is why Donald Trump is so popular. He's anti-institution. He can't be bought. He can't be sold. He's going to give it to you straight and keep it real. And those who relate to that love that about him. If you look at both parties and potential candidates, including the current president and vice president, I think he, Donald Trump, is the best candidate we have. It's a no-brainer.
I mean, listen, you can be because
Hey,
if
last
it.
night broke clock is right twice a day.
I mean, but look, what I'm saying is that it's one of those situations where point for point for point, right? You might be correct on some things and incorrect on other things. I would be interested to know at what level does he suggest the corruption of state government, or is it the governmental structure itself that he believes is not designed for the success of Black and Latino people? Now, if he suggests that, right, that'll just tell me everything I need to know, because essentially, if he was to suggest that, right, you are then ruling out all of the Black leadership. You have then just uh, discredited and minimalized all of the accomplishments of Black Americans. So I don't think we're going to ever get into a conversation with the guy, but I'd love to have a conversation with him and see where his head's at on a few things to get some clarity before making a judgment, you know?
So this article, last thing on this, Mr. Fisher doesn't stand alone in the black community wanting to see Trump in 24. His quote is more and more black people every day are supporting him. At least look at, for example, look at the rappers. Look at people like Waka Flocka and Sexy Red and others. On October 16th, Waka posted a photo of himself with Trump, and the post simply stated Trump 24. Now, Fisher also said, look at how the black neighborhood in Fulton cheered Trump on the way to the jail. They know that the government is harassing him because they've seen it in their own lives and they recognize the persecution. Now, here's my argument. I still feel like there is some soft Marxism victimness in this.
Well, hold on. I kind of nipped that in the bud by saying we would need to have a further conversation to get down to some nuances of his philosophy and ideology and things of that nature. But on the surface, if I was just to take a off the top what I think like you said, he's trying to straddle the Black Lives Matter branding with some conservatism, but keeping the Marxist racist ideology alive. Because again,
Well, one
when
thing
yeah,
I said the other day, bro, and I'll put it this way. He who straddles the fence usually finds himself impaled on it. So you want to
yeah,
play both sides of that fence? There you go, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, you are checking out Top of the Morning here on the Urban Conservative. If you haven't done so already, you see those links on your screen. You can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and the app formerly known as Twitter at TUC Twins or TU Conservative. We are talking this morning about Black Lives Matter founder. One of the founders of their state organizations has come out to support Trump and conservatives. Let us know what you think. Is this just a ploy to play the middle? Is he really just trying to straddle the fence? What do y'all think? Do you think there's any type of legitimacy to a Black Lives Matter guy supporting Donald Trump? Now, the interesting thing about this to me, bro, and I say this because we're at a point now where with everything going on over in Israel and that whole situation there, people are starting to kind of show their true colors as it were. And one of the interesting things was I never really took Dave Chappelle seriously from a political perspective. Like I think he's a great comedian, bro.
okay. So this is one of those stories and I don't know if you got a Dave Chappelle image you can put up,
It's
right?
popping up now. It's popping up.
I think that'll be good. So here's the issue, right? There is a very fine line between finding profound ideas presented in jest. Example, George Carlin is someone who, in jest, had made some really profound political statements, okay, and observations. So there is a space where I will accept that there are points in time where comedians have actually made really profound political statements and or observations about America. And I've been able to extract, as you have, we've been able to extract and add that to our political tool bag, if you will, right? So then you have Dave Chappelle, who is clearly a liberal comedian, who is clearly a funny guy. I think probably one of the best comedians of all times. If I had to make a list, and I didn't include talent, I didn't include political, outside of the stage. If I didn't include that, Dave Chappelle would probably be the GOAT, right, of stand-up comedy, not television shows, not sales and ratings. I'm talking about the skill of performing stand-up comedy. It's him, Cat Williams, very small list of people.
Right. I
So,
can see that.
so here's what you got. You have to take Dave Chappelle, knowing that he's a liberal. And the other side to this is that people are bringing their emotions to a comedy show, which is a mistake. You can't, as much as I disagree with any of the sentiments that may be pro or can be construed as pro Hamas, right? I totally do not agree with the sentiment that the innocent people in Israel deserved to be killed like that. That is not right. I don't care what your historical view on Israel and Palestine is. That is not right.
Mm.
I don't want to get into the response from those people because I have no reference point of how they feel as a country. I have no reference point. So if you guys have noticed, we have not discussed this subject matter on the show. This is the first we're talking about it. But for the record, my personal, not even my personal, but the reality of it is someone like Dave Chappelle isn't a very well studied political guy. He's a comedian. He's a leftist. He is a liberal. Dave Chappelle is politically a liberal. That's what you got. He supports Democrats, whether he knows it or not. His comedy, and most black comedy, is very left leaning.
That's fair. That's
So,
absolutely fair.
so the idea that anybody is shocked by Dave Chappelle is really bringing emotions to something where they don't apply. And and this is, I have to remind people, people are free to say whatever they want to say. People are free to support Palestine, no matter how dumb we think that is. People are free to think whatever they want to think about Israel, no matter how misguided or misinformed it is. So we have to remember that, and I don't think there should be a push to cancel Dave Chappelle over
So
his
if you don't
statements.
know what he's talking about, members of the audience of a Dave Chappelle show this past Thursday walked out after he criticized Israel's bombing of Gaza and said students supporting Palestinians shouldn't be losing jobs over it. The Wall Street Journal spoke to several attendees and some reported the audience shouted "Free Palestine" in support of Chappelle's comments, while others yelled support for Hamas before some audience members walked out. The back and forth with the audience occurred after Dave Chappelle declared students shouldn't be losing jobs. A member of the audience reportedly shouted "shut up" after his statement, which prompted more statements from him about Israel. The comedian also condemned Hamas's attack against Israel, according to the Wall Street Journal, but accused the U.S. of aiding the murder of innocent civilians. 3 students who attend either Harvard or Columbia were denied job offers at a top law firm after they signed onto a letter supporting Hamas.
Okay.
Jason Polk and Wardwell, a law firm in New York City, rescinded letters of employment for 3 law students at Harvard and Columbia after the students signed on an open letter supporting Hamas. That is not a good idea. The firm's announcement came via an internal email that was later posted to social media. A chair and manager partner at the firm, Neil Barr, said that the statements in the letters were contrary to the firm's values. Should have thought about that when you was applying to the job. We thus
Hold on,
conclude.
hold on, hold on. So you know what that's like? You know what that's like? I know a lot of y'all may not have the time in your day. And we got one more story to cover after this, so we're gonna wrap this, right? But a lot of y'all don't have the time to watch like the Senate judiciary hearings and a lot of those hearings and things of that nature. And it's really interesting that they pull up tweets from 10 years ago. They pull up college writings from 20 years ago, especially for federal judges that are seeking nominations or nominated federal judges. If you go back, like right now, I can't remember the black dude's name. They just brought up all of his Marxist, racist tweets. And, it's like, yeah,
Oh, you
you
talking
post.
about Katabai? You talking about that black guy? Custer?
But it's over and over again. It's many people they've done this with. So the point that they do bring this stuff up, and rightfully so. Hey, if you said in college, right, all white people are evil and they hate black people, and now we're 20 years later and you're looking to become a federal judge. So let me ask you about this statement, because did you build on that foundational thinking, or have you reversed course on that thinking? Where are you at today with that type of stuff?
Right, right.
So but the question remains: is should Dave Chappelle be canceled for his statements? I think if you read his statements in full, he did denounce the Hamas attack, the terrorist group attack. He did denounce that, but you got to also remember Dave Chappelle's a comedian, and comedians have a level of troll. Like, y'all got to understand what trolling is. So
Yeah,
I'd leave it
there's that
there.
part. That we'll leave that there. Ladies and gentlemen, you are checking out Top of the Morning here on the Urban Conservative, usually the best roundabout 30-minute morning show on the planet. You are kicking it with the TUC twins, Abdul Ali and Raheem Soto. Again, if you haven't done so already, give us a like, share, follow, and a subscribe. You see the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, and the app formerly known as Twitter. You can give us a follow where we update. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have an amazing show lined up for the Urban Conservative Podcast. We're going to be talking to formerly incarcerated activist, militant activist Craig Scott about Donald Trump, the First Step Act, his experience as a guy that was on the left and seeing the light that conservatism and what criminal justice reform looks like. So again, that's tonight at 8 p.m. on the Urban Conservative Podcast. Last but not least for this morning, bro.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I bruh, your
All right,
man's.
so hold on. Do you if y'all don't know who this is, this young man, Travis King, has been charged by the army with
A
for
bunch of
desertion, for defecting to North Korea, and child PORN. Okay, that's what he has been. Listen, it makes the story starting to come together now. Why you took off, buddy? It's starting to come
yeah.
together.
Army has charged Private Travis King with crimes ranging from desertion for running into North Korea in July to assault against fellow soldiers and the solicitation of the CP. Yeah.
All right. Well, the funny thing is that listen, like these articles about the story are hysterical if you actually read them. One of them reads, the Army has charged defector Travis King with several offenses, including desertion. When you see the word for sprinting into North Korea, all I can just see is him sprinting. That's it. The story says sprinting. That is absolutely hysterical that you chose the
Well,
word
here's the
sprinting.
thing, right? Here's the thing. The Router story got a statement from the guy's mom. Claudine Gates expressed her unconditional love and asked that her son be afforded the presumption of innocence.
No, ma'am.
The man I raised, this is her quote: the man I raised, the man I dropped off at boot camp, the man who spent the holiday with me before deploying, did not drink, Gates said. A mother knows her son, and I believe something happened to mine while he was deployed. The Army promised to investigate what happened at Camp Humphreys, and I await the results. For weeks, the Army deferred questions about whether he would face disciplinary action, saying the priority has been on ensuring the soldier received proper care after being held for 2 months by North Korea. His
Mm.
release in September followed weeks of behind-the-scene negotiation that led the Swedish government to retrieve him in North Korea and bring him across the border into China for a handoff to the U.S. ambassador. He was then flown to a military hospital in Texas on the 28th for medical evals, including his mental health. Details are scarce about his treatment in Korean custody, and the soldier has not publicly explained why he fled to the world's most reclusive nation on July 19th. But on the Army's charge sheet, it accuses him of broad misconduct before that incident, including attempting to escape the U.S. military custody in October of 2022. He was also accused of soliciting a Snapchat user in 2023, knowingly and willingly to produce CP. Yeah, the good old CP. He was also accused of possession of it. What this sounds like is a dude that lived with his mama and got in the army, bro, and went absolutely nuts. Didn't have a clue. Wasn't used to being on his
All
own,
right. Respectfully, I bet you the
bro.
mama. I bet you the mama nuts. I bet you the mama crazy.
I don't see a picture of her, but with that said, the one thing that I feel like is, and I normally, we don't normally say we feel. The thing that I feel like is happening here is that this dude knew he was in trouble, and he thought going to North Korea they would take him and they would keep him because he's an American. But then they realized, boy, you was a private, you ain't got no usable secrets. There's nothing we can get for you. Y'all come get this boy. Like, yo,
Oh no, that's pretty much what happened. That's pretty much how that went. He's like, yeah, I'm a defect into North Korea, and it's like, you don't think the skinny black guy sticks out? Like, what are we doing here? The non-Korean
you are
speaking
not
black guy?
Rodman, bro. You're,
Yeah.
you're not Rodman. Yeah, you're
Or,
not him.
or maybe he is. Look, maybe he's a Rodman in the making.
Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, we are live and direct on top of the morning each and every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. right here on the Urban Conservative, and each and every Monday night at 8 p.m. the Urban Conservative podcast. Again, tonight at 8 we'll be joined by formerly incarcerated actor and activist Craig Scott to talk about his experience with the First Step Act, Donald Trump, politics, all that good stuff. Tonight at 8 p.m. right here on the Urban Conservative. We want you to have a positive and productive Monday and join us tonight at 8 for the podcast. Again, for my twin brother Raheem, Architect Soto, I'm Abdul Ali. We are the TUC Twins. This has been Top of the Morning. Y'all have a good day. Peace.